I asked Senator Adam Schiff here last week when the subject of Trump's sliding poll numbers came up. Okay, but how are the Democrats going to blow it this time?
There's a very specific kind of political disaster that doesn't start with shouting. It starts with a smile, a calm question, a little pause, and then suddenly somebody on national television realizes the interview they thought would be friendly is actually an ambush with studio lighting. That's what this was. Bill Maher didn't come in swinging like a cable news lunatic. He came in relaxed, almost amused, and somehow that made it worse. No screaming, no chest thumping, no dramatic gotcha setup. Just one host, one guest, and that slow, painful feeling of watching a polished political persona start to glitch in real time. And if you enjoy watching powerful people get peeled open layer by layer, hit subscribe now, because this clip doesn't just embarrass one man. It exposes an entire political operating system.
This statement from the administration: the president had the constitutional authority to direct the use of military force because he could reasonably determine that such use of force was in the national interest. That's too vague for you?
Totally vague.
Okay, because that's from Obama, about Libya.
And trust me, the first awkward moment was nowhere near the worst one. This is where people misunderstand what made the exchange hit so hard. Maher's real advantage wasn't volume. It was timing. He let Schiff settle into that polished, lawyer-approved Sunday show rhythm politicians use when they want to sound airtight without saying anything dangerous. You know the tone. That carefully rehearsed, media-trained cadence that says, "I've escaped harder questions than this." But Maher didn't try to bulldoze through it. He let it breathe. Then he started picking at it one weak spot at a time. That's what made the whole thing so uncomfortable. It didn't feel like an argument. It felt like a magician ruining another magician's trick, while the audience was still trying to figure out where the rabbit came.
This statement from the administration: the president had the constitutional authority to direct the use of military force because he could reasonably determine that such use of force was in the national interest. That's too vague for you?
Totally vague.
Okay, because that's from Obama, about Libya.
Well, Obama made the argument initially that he could go into Syria without an authorization. I and many others pushed back on that argument. Ultimately, he did not go forward with going after Assad, even though Assad was gassing his own people, because he thought he might lose the vote in Congress. But I respect the fact that was important to him, and the fact that he did not have the support of Congress meant that we weren't going to go forward.
Came from. And once the room realized that, the energy shifted. Suddenly, this wasn't a conversation anymore. It was a live disassembly. Then came the moment that told you everything. A quote gets brought up and Schiff reacts instantly. Too instantly. Not like someone carefully thinking through what was said, but like someone who saw the political jersey color in his head and assumed he already knew who the villain was. That's the tell. When somebody attacks a line before even knowing who said it, they're not defending a principle. They're defending a side. That isn't thought. That's reflex. And once that landed, the whole exchange stopped being about one comment and started being about credibility itself. Because now the real question wasn't whether the quote was offensive. The real question was whether Schiff would have reacted the exact same way.
I mean, the Mueller report is, at the end of the day, that firecracker that goes up and then the one that fizzles. Oh, look, nothing. Do you think you guys relied too much on that?
Look, I was always of the opinion, number one, that the Office of Legal Counsel opinion that you can't indict a sitting president was wrong.
Oh, good.
That, in fact, you can indict a sitting president. I think there are prudential reasons not to try someone who's the President of the United States, but particularly when there's any risk of the statute of limitations running. If the president commits a crime, they should be indicted.
If the words had come from his own camp, that's the kind of moment people remember. Not because it explodes, but because it reveals. It's like watching someone run for the emergency exit and accidentally switch on all the house lights. And then came the familiar escape route, the place polished politicians always run when the clean answer disappears. Complexity, history, procedure, legal language, institutional framing, technical nuance piled on top of more nuance. All those little verbal smoke bombs designed to make a weak position sound intelligent. On paper, it might even read like a solid defense. But television is merciless. TV doesn't just hear words. It reads survival. And Schiff looked like a man trying to climb out of a hole by citing building regulations. Maher wouldn't let him disappear into process. He kept dragging the whole thing back to the one thing highly trained political people.
But this was our big gun. Now it just looks like you're stalking him. I think in the eyes of the people who don't follow it that closely, which is most of the country, here's the thing about Bob Mueller. He's like the last person, maybe the last thing in America that left and right agreed on. Left and right basically agreed. This is a guy of honor. This is an honest guy. This is an honest broker. Whatever he says goes. Americans are not into details. Don't read it to me, Bob. Just give me a thumbs up, a thumbs down. The fact that he was like,
People hate most simple accountability. Not the framework, not the procedural dilemma, not the constitutional maze, just the basic question. After all the promises, did the big result ever arrive or not? That question hit so hard because everyone watching already knew the answer before Schiff even opened his mouth. This is where the exchange stopped being funny and turned brutal, because hanging over the conversation was one uncomfortable memory. Years of buildup, certainty, and promises that the breakthrough was coming. The walls were closing in, and history was about to deliver a clean ending. Then it never came. That failure sat beneath everything Schiff said. Once you spend years talking as if the finale is guaranteed, you can't be surprised when people come back and check the scoreboard.
I'm not there yet on impeachment. I may get there, he may get me there. But here's the awful dilemma that we face. If we don't impeach him, that sends a message that this kind of conduct, this obstruction of justice, this kind of willing use of the help of a foreign adversary, all the lies and cover-up, that this is non-impeachable. At the same time, if we do impeach him, and he is acquitted as he would likely be acquitted, then the message is those are not impeachable offenses.
You made the scoreboard the whole game. Maher understood that he wasn't just challenging one claim. He was dragging an entire era of political hype back into the room and forcing Schiff to explain what happened when the promised ending never arrived. That's why the interview felt bigger than two people. It felt like an architect standing in the rubble, defending the blueprint. But that still wasn't the strangest part. Once the conversation moved into impeachment politics, the logic began folding in on itself. Schiff seemed trapped in the nightmare every strategist fears. Explaining the plan only made it sound worse. If you act, you lose. If you don't, you lose. Push harder and you energize the opposition. Pull back and you look weak.
I don't have a clue what you think about health care. I've never heard it.
Yeah.
I don't know whether you're for Medicare for all or improve Obamacare or get a chicken. I don't know what.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't know what. Here's what I was telling my colleagues.
So what exactly is being sold? A strategy or panic dressed up in formal language? That's the danger of obsession-driven politics. What starts as righteous becomes exhausting, then repetitive, until one basic live TV question makes the entire strategy sound trapped in its own dead end. Maher recognized it and kept pressing because this wasn't a master plan being explained. It was a dead end being narrated in nicer words. Then Maher hit the question that actually matters to ordinary people. What do you really believe about their lives? That's the trap for politicians who build their identity around.
You know, I mean, it's amazing the way we have these elections, and it seems like when I look before the election, boy, the ammunition that the Democrats have to fire is just, God, they're just loaded, and then it doesn't work. Why doesn't this message land?
You know, it landed in November of this last year in the special elections. We were disciplined, we focused